Some indications that a child or adult has dyslexia are obvious, and others are more subtle. One symptom does not mean a person definitely has dyslexia. However, if multiple indications are present, it is a good idea to get the child or adult professionally tested. Dyslexia may be present if a child shows strong anger or intense frustration when reading or writing problems are brought up, has problems with memorization, because dyslexia impacts short-term memory, avoids reading, finds it hard to follow directions having more than one step, misspells a large number of words, takes a long time to read each individual sentence in a passage, tends to not answer a question directly, answers a question that was not asked, finds correctly pronouncing words to be tough, claims a book or story isn't formatted perfectly, so they shouldn't have to read it, states that without a perfectly defined problem, they shouldn't have to do the work to provide a solution, has difficulty with writing notes, text messages, or letters. He or she may require unusual concentration or take a lot of time to complete short written works. Gives long creative explanations when asked why it is difficult for them to read. Stumbles when trying to rhyme words. Has trouble with basic math. Is habitually late for appointments, school, and events. Struggles with distinguishing left from right. Has difficulty in correctly using the words from and to, inside, outside, or up and down. To assist you in determining if a child has dyslexia, download our free Detecting Dyslexia checklist at the link shown in this video's description. The outside screen door slammed as Taylor raced through the kitchen, ran to her bedroom, and fell to the floor crying. Shadow, the family dog, sensing an opportunity for some petting, raced after her. Jennifer watched the race unfold, stopped preparing dinner, and followed. Taylor, what's wrong? Are you okay? A torrent of tears answered her question. Jennifer tried again. Did you hurt yourself? In between big sobs, Taylor blurted, Tommy thinks I'm stupid. Why did he say that? We were playing in the backyard and Tommy's mom brought us some lemonade. We were sitting on their back porch and he finished his cup first, so he ran inside. He came back with a picture book about a funny dog and he started to read it. After a few pages, he handed me the book and told me to take over. I tried, but all I could do was make some sounds. He grabbed the book back, and that is when he said, I was sure stupid. Jennifer gently stroked Taylor's hair. You are definitely not stupid. I've seen you do some amazing things, and you are very smart. Then why can't I read? Tommy is 6 months younger than me, and he can't. I don't know, Taylor, but we're going to find out and work on this together. Later that night, Jennifer called her sister Carol, a teacher. Jennifer told her sister what happened earlier. Carol thought she knew what was going on. It sounds like Taylor may have dyslexia. Jennifer cut her off with a loud, oh no, she won't be able to go to college or get a job or... It was Carol's turn to cut off Jennifer. Stop it. Calm down, Jennifer. 1 in 5 kids have dyslexia. There are a lot of ways to help them read. You and she can work together to find the best way for her to learn. Jennifer let out a long sigh. Carol continued. There are some things you need to know, though. Dyslexia can be accompanied by struggles with math, called dyscalculia, and issues with short-term memory and developing a sense of direction. The bigger issue is the emotional stress being placed on the child. Great, so it's more than just reading. Yes, but there's also a tremendous advantage to being dyslexic. Sure, like what? Dyslexic brains are wired differently than those of non-dyslexics. That produces the issues we just talked about, but it also leads to some great gifts. Dyslexics have unique ways of solving very complex problems, and they can be highly creative. In fact, scientists are starting to believe that dyslexia may be a next step in human evolution. You're just saying that to make me feel better. I am not. I'm going to send you some stuff on dyslexia and you can see for yourself. Meanwhile, go hug Taylor and tell her Aunt Carol says hi. Then squeeze her tight and tell her the two of you are not just going to give her the tools to learn to read, but you're going on a treasure hunt to find the special gifts she already has that go with her reading problems. I will. And thanks, sis. It was a great day, or at least it started that way. We were playing at Tommy's house and having a lot of fun. We spent a long time watching Tommy's silly dog ride the robot vacuum cleaner back and forth. Then we went outside and kicked a soccer ball around until Tommy's mom brought us some lemonade. We sat on their back porch watching a bunch of birds swoop in and out in the sky. It was pretty. Tommy finished his drink first, so he went inside and brought back a book about a cute and funny dog. He read the words next to the pictures, which had my favorite colors. Then it happened. He handed me the book and said, "Here, you read." I took the book and tried to read the words under a picture of the dog with a butterfly in his nose, but I couldn't understand what those black marks were under the picture. I kept trying for a while when Tommy grabbed the book back. "Taylor, you sure are stupid," Tommy shouted. "I am not stupid," I shouted back, but secretly I knew he might be right. Meanwhile, Tommy stared at me and said, "You're lying. You are stupid." I stood up and started to run for a gate through the backyard fence. I shouted over my shoulder back at Tommy, "You're stupid for calling me stupid. I don't want to play with you anymore." When I got home, I ran to my room and started crying. I wished all the books in the world would go away. This story happens thousands of times each week, but it rarely gets any attention. Taylor has dyslexia, along with 1 in 5 of all children. The fact that she cannot find meaning in the squiggles on a written page makes her different. The earlier her parents and teachers can identify that she has it, the sooner everyone can work together to find the tools and techniques to not only read, but also to deal with the other conditions that go with dyslexia, like difficulty with simple math, such as basic addition, limited short-term memory, and difficulty with understanding time and directions. It is even more important to help Taylor and the other dyslexic children deal with the intense emotions that dyslexia can cause. These emotions, if not dealt with, can leave scars that last a lifetime. A sad part of dyslexia is that the difficulties with reading and the other things may be far outweighed by the special talents and skills it can bring to the dyslexic. The so-called problems dyslexia causes are due to a rewiring of the brain that allows high levels of creativity, a refined way of looking at the big picture of a situation, and the ability to look at and solve complex issues. In fact, a recent study indicates dyslexia may be the next step in the evolution of the human brain. It's important for parents to help their child understand what dyslexia is and to not only learn to read, but understand that although they may be different, that could be because they are very talented. Chill out and take a deep breath or 2 or 3. Your child has dyslexia and you're worried about their future and whether they will ever be able to live a successful life. You may feel guilty that they have dyslexia as if somehow you are at fault and you wonder what you should do to help your child. It's not going to help your son or daughter deal with dyslexia if you are frozen with fear or paralyzed with guilt. To help your child, first confirm their dyslexia through testing. How did you find out your child has dyslexia? Did you figure it out from symptoms you observed? Did a teacher in preschool or first grade discover your son or daughter is dyslexic? Did someone you know who has dyslexia observe your child and indicate that they think your child might have dyslexia? Professional testing can confirm the presence of dyslexia. Take advantage of the testing that is available in your area and in your child's school or school district. Second, discuss dyslexia with your child. Your child needs to understand what dyslexia is and how it has affected them. Talking about dyslexia can be a great relief to a child who has already realized that they are different from their friends and their classmates, but they don't know why. Dyslexic children can internalize a lot of pain when friends call them slow or stupid. The embarrassment of struggling to read can last a lifetime if it is not openly surfaced. Your son or daughter needs to understand that in no way are they responsible for having dyslexia. They also need to know that 1 in 5 people have it, so it is likely that they have several friends or classmates who are going through the same thing. They also need to know that there are many ways to overcome their reading problems and the other challenges that come with dyslexia. Your son or daughter needs to know that you and they are in this dyslexia thing together. Third, get them help. Most parents focus on getting their child the reading help they need. There are many effective methods using phonics, the sounds that make up a word, to overcome dyslexia. A common phonics-based program is the Orton-Gillingham method. But parents need to also look beyond reading assistance. Dyslexics commonly have issues with short-term memory, understanding the concept of time, solving basic math problems, performing the steps of a process in the correct order, and reversing directions. Each of these issues require a technique or tool, and a parent needs to help their child find the solutions that work best for them. A parent also needs to help their child manage the intense emotions that dyslexia triggers. This goes well beyond their first discussion of dyslexia and lasts throughout childhood, the teen years, and into adulthood. To help you with this often overlooked yet critical part of parenting a dyslexic child, you can download our free A Parent's Emotional Support Checklist at the link shown in this video's description. Something was wrong. She just didn't know what. Lisa's son Nathan had turned 5 last month. He was always a handful. His high energy and bubbly personality meant he got into the usual troubles of a preschooler. He often tested the boundaries his mom and dad set for him, and he loved playing with his older brother and younger sister. His laughter was contagious, and his cute smile could get him out of a variety of situations. Lately, however, he had been quieter. He wasn't playing with his siblings and friends as much as he used to, and he was avoiding the quality time he and his mom and dad spent every evening enjoying storybooks together. "Nathan, is something bothering you?" Lisa asked. The little boy slowly shook his head. "Are you mad at your brother and sister?" Nathan just shrugged his shoulders. "How about your friends? Did they do something?" Nathan turned to look out the window and again slowly shook his head. "Did you hurt yourself?" Lisa gently pulled Nathan close and examined all the typical preschooler injury spots. There was no apparent damage. "Nathan, you seem to be sad. Can Mommy help you with something?" This time Nathan did nothing in response to the question. Lisa began to worry. Something was affecting her child and she needed to get to the bottom of it. "Nathan, give Mommy a hug." The preschooler clamped his mother in a tight bear hug. "Come on, Nathan, I can tell something is bothering you. Please tell me what it is so I can help you." At first there was no response. Suddenly Nathan let out a wail that startled Lisa. The wail turned into tears and then sobbing that comes from long, deep crying. Lisa's motherly concern soared as she held her son close. Nathan's reaction wasn't normal. Sure, he cried like every young child, but not like this. He was in a lot of pain. "Nathan, please tell me what's wrong. I want to fix it." Nathan turned his wet face toward his mother and looked her in the eye. "I'm stupid and everybody is making fun of me." The admission was followed by another long wail and more sobs. "Who said you are stupid? You are bright and smart. Whoever told you that is wrong." The sorrow on Nathan's face transitioned into a set jaw and a long stare. "Everybody thinks I'm stupid, and they are right. You are lying to me." Nathan released his bear hug, ran to his room, and sat down in a corner. Nathan had never called her a liar before. "He's in more pain than I have ever seen him," she thought. Lisa walked to Nathan's room and sat down next to him. Fighting back her own tears, she gently massaged Nathan's shoulders. "What exactly did the other kids tell you?" Without lifting his head, Nathan mumbled, "They are right. I'm stupid. They are starting to understand those marks next to the pictures in their books, and I can't. They have tried over and over to tell me what those squiggly marks are on the paper, but I just don't get it. They will point to a set of marks and tell me what they mean, but I can't remember. I am so stupid." Guilt started to swell with Lisa. She fidgeted as she compared Nathan's behavior to what he had just said. How could she have missed something as deeply painful to her son as this? "Nathan, I don't know what's going on, but we're certainly going to find out. I'm going to do everything I can to make it better, I promise." After what seemed like forever to Lisa, Nathan raised his head and moved to put Lisa in another bear hug. "Mommy, it hurts so much. I don't want to feel strange and different. I want the pain to stop." This story, or something like it, is played out in thousands of homes each year. 1 in 5 children have dyslexia. There are millions of children who have dyslexia and don't understand why they have problems with reading while their friends do not. Their parents, who may or may not know anything about dyslexia, now face the reality that something has deeply hurt their son or daughter. All parents should know how to look for dyslexia so they can help their child. We have developed a free guide, Detecting Dyslexia Checklist, which you can download at the link in this video's description. If you would like to find out more about how you can help your dyslexic child move past the pain and overcome dyslexia, get your copy of Loving Your Dyslexic at lovingyourdyslexic.com. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button so you won't miss one of our new weekly dyslexia help videos. Not enough attention is given to the intense emotions experienced by children with dyslexia. The trigger for these emotions often begins with difficulty with learning to read. A dyslexic child starts to stand out because they can't decode the squiggles on the page next to the pictures in children's books. Their friends notice the difficulty and start to pick on the child who is finding reading difficult. The mild jabs eventually turn into more intense messages such as, "You're so stupid you can't even read," or "You're strange," or "You're weird." This leads to a whole range of emotional reactions by the child with dyslexia. Some try to deflect attention by offering their friends unanticipated gifts so these friends will still like them despite their dyslexia. Others try to deflect attention by pointing out the faults in other kids, a strategy not likely to be successful in ending confrontation. Often dyslexic children will start avoiding their peers, siblings, and even parents. They try to isolate themselves from other people who keep pointing out how different they are. Still others may feel helpless and not knowing how to resolve their situation. They may feel deep sadness or even depression. They may begin to experience the physical effects of being deeply stressed. Insomnia and lack of appetite can occur if they are not given help in dealing with dyslexia. And the dyslexia-caused emotions are not just triggered by reading problems. There are other parts of dyslexia and conditions that often co-occur with dyslexia that can amplify negative emotions. Confusing directions such as left and right, not remembering things because of reduced short-term memory, performing the steps of a set of instructions out of order, and an inability to understand and deal with the concept of time can all put the dyslexic in an unwanted bright spotlight and further damage their self-image. The strong negative emotions associated with every part of dyslexia have to be brought out and dealt with. Parents need to watch their kids not only for the signs of dyslexia, but also for the emotional effects of the condition. If a child makes progress in learning to read, that is an important victory. But at the same time, if the negative emotions that dyslexia can cause are not effectively dealt with, it can be an unnecessary lifelong tragedy. Parents and teachers need to look at all the effects of dyslexia, especially the emotional ones, to prepare the dyslexic child for a great life. My name is Jonas. I'm a second grader and my life is a mess. In preschool, my friends were beginning to read, but I couldn't. The black squiggles underneath pictures in our books made no sense to me. My friends picked up on this and started to say I was stupid. I responded by trying to change the subject away from reading or being extra nice to my friends by giving them candy or other gifts so they would like me despite my problems. When those things didn't work, sometimes I would get into fights to defend myself from bullies or to prove I was just as good a person as my friends. Often, though, I would withdraw into myself. I would stay in my room alone and not play with my brother and sister or with my friends. Once we got to grade school, the teachers tested all of us and they told my mom, dad, and me that I had dyslexia. That was what was causing my problems with reading. They started teaching me to read using something called phonics, and slowly reading started to get easier. The problem was it took me longer than my classmates to get better at reading, so I was still called stupid and was still bullied. Now though, other stuff is starting to creep up. When we play a game during recess and someone tells me to go right, I go left. Or when they tell me to go left, I go right. This is happening a lot and it's embarrassing. And I'm finding it's very difficult to do simple addition and subtraction. Math is hard for me. Then when my teachers give us the 3 or 4 things we need to do in a certain order, I scramble them up and do not do them in the correct order. No matter what I try, I can't seem to do them the way my teachers say we should. And finally, it's very hard for me to get to school on time or be ready on time when my family is going somewhere. I have a watch and everything, but I don't really understand what time is, and I have no idea why it is so important. I'm bad at everything. Reading, math, directions, and being on time. Nothing I do seems to turn out well, and my friends think I'm totally stupid. I don't want to do anything. I am so mad and sad at the same time. Defeating the dyslexia dragon involves finding the tools and techniques to overcome issues in 3 main areas. First, help your child overcome reading issues. This is what most people focus on when they are thinking about dyslexia. Second, help your child deal with the powerful emotions associated with dyslexia. Shame, guilt, fear, frustration, and feeling isolated are all part of a dyslexic child's life. Third, help your child conquer the effects of other common aspects of dyslexia that are often minimized or ignored. Reduced short-term memory, difficulty in understanding the concept of time, struggles with solving basic math problems, disorganization, and direction reversals may all need attention. The process for finding tools or workarounds needs to be a team effort with parents, teachers, other school professionals, and the child all involved in order to 1. Identify the specific dyslexia effect, such as scrambling steps in written instructions or trouble with multiplying numbers. 2. Review various methods for overcoming that effect. 3. Test each approach to find the one that works the best for your child. 4. Practice that best method repeatedly until it becomes an almost reflex for the child with dyslexia. 5. Feel free to combine approaches if the combination works best. 6. If all known methods and combinations don't work, help the child create their own way of dealing with that particular part of dyslexia. And 7. Make finding a solution a game when discovery of a workaround seems impossible. You know you have the best workaround when it is used without unusual effort. If a child can remember how to use the workaround each time they need it, that is a big win. And this workaround tool can serve them for a lifetime. Unfortunately, bullying has been part of the lives of too many children who have dyslexia. It can start as early as preschool or when playing with other small children in the neighborhood. One of the older children will start to make sense of the letters and words next to the pictures in children's book, and soon others begin to read as well. Then one of the kids discovers that they just don't get it. They try very hard, but they just don't see what the other kids see. The other kids are understanding at first, but as time goes on, they start to call out the non-reader. For the non-reading child, it only gets worse in the early grades. By now, they are viewed as different, and the taunts and jeers at recess and after school can be deeply painful. Even when the school helps the child with dyslexia learn to read, the other components of the condition can amplify the idea that the dyslexic child is different. Only the other kids in class or in the neighborhood are not as polite. You are stupid. You don't know your left from your right. You are so dumb, you never get the steps right in trying to follow the teacher's instructions. You can't even do the addition and subtraction right. What a dummy. The dyslexic child often feels isolated, sad, depressed, inferior, lonely, or even angry. As the years pass and grade school turns into middle school and then high school, the taunts can get worse and even physical. If the bullying isn't stopped, the child with dyslexia can experience serious emotional and sometimes physical harm. Parents and teachers need to watch out for these emotions in dyslexic children. By itself, learning to read is not the end of supporting dyslexia. If the effects of bullying are not managed and effectively dealt with, the dyslexic child may turn into a dyslexic adult with diminished dreams and fractured relationships. Is your dyslexic child being bullied? How do you know? Children with dyslexia typically experience anger, fear, and anxiety well before bullying enters their life. From an early age, and often before the adults in their lives realize it, dyslexic children recognize they are different. Their friends have started reading, but the dyslexic child can't seem to learn how to read. This greatly damages the self-esteem of the kids with dyslexia. They don't want to be different, but they are, and that can cause real and significant emotional pain. When someone in the sphere of friends or classmates recognizes a child has dyslexia, those so-called friends can weaponize the condition. Bullies who have their own self-esteem issues attack the dyslexic child with verbal abuse, creating cliques that isolate the dyslexics. Bullies are also prone to provoking physical fights. This bullying can amplify the dyslexic's negative emotions and use of the self-defense techniques the child with dyslexia has used to protect themselves from further emotional harm. A bullied dyslexic child may further withdraw from family and friends, develop strong feelings of being weak or worthless, or plunge into physically engaging the bully or bullies, even if that leads to physical harm to themselves. A parent needs to constantly look for any changes in their dyslexic child's behavior. The parent needs to establish an environment where the child feels safe in talking with their mother or father about anything, including their dyslexia and any bullying that may occur. Hopefully, a parent recognizes when their child is being bullied before any physical harm actually happens. Identifying all the things a parent can do to protect their child is beyond the scope of this video, but there are a few common sense things that a parent can do. Identify the bully or bullies involved and talk with their parents or school officials. Talk with your dyslexic child about how their learning differences do not make them any less of a person, no matter what the bully tells them. Emphasize to your child the unique talents that dyslexia can bring them. We have a free one-page color poster, The Heart of Dyslexia, you can download to reinforce the positive aspects of dyslexia to your child. It is available at the link in the description for this video. For all the challenges of dyslexia, children and adults with it tend to have very special gifts, and those gifts can help the dyslexic thrive. Discovering and unlocking a dyslexic child's gifts can be a fantastic experience for both you and your child. The treasure hunt for these gifts can dramatically boost the spirit, confidence, and self-respect of a child with dyslexia. It can serve as a balance for all those times that the child feels they are different or stupid or tainted in some way. After all, they may be different because they have dyslexia, but if they are also different because they have special talents, then being different may not be as bad after all. So what are these special gifts and how do you find them? First, let your dyslexic child know they have special talents and the two of you are going to find them together. Second, be open to all kinds of gifts. Dyslexics like Leonardo da Vinci and Einstein had special gifts, but no one could name those gifts before these giants came along. Dyslexics have a way of surprising us with new gifts that make very large contributions to society. Dyslexics have a holistic, big-picture view with a unique perspective that is very helpful in solving difficult problems. It wouldn't surprise me that, in the future, organizations and companies actually recruit dyslexics for this ability because it is so powerful. As a parent, watch as your child solves difficult problems they face. If you detect a pattern of unusual solutions, your daughter or son might have this special gift. Many dyslexics have an uncanny ability to detect the emotions of the people around them. The feelings of isolation and being different, the struggle to read and do basic math, and the aftermath of being bullied all take a toll on the dyslexic child. They can also lead to a sensitivity to the feelings of others. Children with dyslexia may feel the pain of others more than their non-dyslexic peers, and they often act to ease that pain. What a wonderful gift to be focused on the needs of others. Not only do the other people benefit, but the dyslexic child can develop an almost reflex action to help others that serves them well when they are older. Many dyslexics are highly creative. This gift of creativity can reveal itself in music or the arts. A dyslexic child who renders a perfect rendition of a song they have only heard once provides a possible clue. A child with dyslexia who produces detailed drawings that are years ahead of their peers can be another sign of unique creative ability. Some dyslexics have an exceptional talent with movement. They show this through dancing or advanced athletic skills. These are just some examples of the special gifts your dyslexic child may have. No list of possible talents can be all-inclusive. The hunt for hidden dyslexic-related gifts is a lifelong activity. As a parent, encourage the hunt whenever you can so your child will pursue it on their own. This is a wonderful gift you can give your child. To learn more about dyslexia and how you can best help your dyslexic loved one find their dyslexic-driven talents, get your copy of Loving Your Dyslexic at lovingyourdyslexic.com. Parents of dyslexics often overlook how much energy their child spends in dealing with the condition. It can be very tiring to just deal with catching up and learning how to read. When you add the other efforts needed to make up for reduced short-term memory, dealing with time, scrambling the order of steps and instructions given to them, and directional confusion, it can be exhausting. You need to monitor their energy level while constantly trying to identify which part or parts of dyslexia is affecting them at any particular time. If they are tired and it's not something like an illness or lack of sleep, ask yourself these questions. Is it reading? Are they being bullied? Did someone call them stupid? Did something happen that caused them dyslexia-related embarrassment? Are the tools they're using to overcome each part of dyslexia tiring them out? Are they emotionally exhausted from trying to overcome dyslexia? It gets easier, less exhausting for a child with dyslexia after they have learned to deal with the powerful emotions it brings, and after they have found and practiced the tools and techniques that help them with each part of dyslexia. Once they can use the tools to overcome a portion of dyslexia without thinking about the tool itself, it will be refreshing to just have to focus more on the energy needed to be successful at whatever they are doing and not worry about dyslexia. Don't forget to remind your child often that together you will find the special talents that dyslexia can bring them. Once you have found those talents, help them develop them. This will offset some of the negatives of dyslexia. And never forget to remind them of just how valuable they are, not just to you, but to all the rest of us because of their dyslexia. Dyslexia doesn't need to stand in the way of a bright future and successful life for your dyslexic. A normal part of parenting is controlling and dealing with the sibling rivalry that occurs in all multi-child families. Parents of dyslexic children need to be especially aware of the impact of this rivalry on their dyslexic child. The deep emotional pain that dyslexic children feel can be immensely amplified by the normal conflicts with their brothers and sisters. Obviously, a mother or father must deal with the frustration, anger, and shame that their dyslexic child feels when mocked or attacked for having dyslexia. A bigger challenge may be in getting the other children to stop using their siblings' dyslexia as a weapon. The siblings of a dyslexic child need to know that their brother or sister may be different, but he or she is certainly not stupid or defective in any way. Their brain is just wired differently, which causes some problems, but can also give them great gifts. Let the other children know that you expect them to help the dyslexic child develop ways of overcoming the effects of dyslexia. Show the non-dyslexic children that helping the child with dyslexia is the same as helping the non-dyslexics deal with their own weaknesses and problems. You can also point out that the same dyslexia they are using to taunt their brother or sister may give their siblings special talents that non-dyslexics rarely possess. No family is without conflict. Working together toward helping each other can generate moments of peace. With dyslexia, establishing and reinforcing an atmosphere that we are all in this together will go a long way in helping all the kids thrive.